Hey everyone, welcome to another deep dive. Today,
Oh.
we're diving headfirst into Thedas, specifically the new Dragon Age, the Veilguard.
Oh.
And we've got this awesome IGN review that we're going to break down.
Sounds like fun.
So are you ready to go through all of this and
Yeah.
unpack everything?
Yeah, I am.
All right, well, the reviewer kicks things off with this line. And honestly, it kind of cracked me up. Wait, BioWare made this. 2024 BioWare.
It is pretty funny. It's like we all needed a minute to process that this is actually happening, and then it's actually good.
Right.
Like after the last few years, even the most diehard Dragon Age fans, like myself, started to have doubts. You know?
Well, yeah, you have to. Yeah, I gotta wonder if BioWare could actually recapture the magic they had with the earlier games in the series. Like, think about Origins back in 2009.
Oh, man.
That was groundbreaking. Felt like a true successor to Baldur's Gate.
Absolutely.
It was amazing.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that blend of choices that mattered, that gritty world.
Mm.
It was something else.
It set a new standard.
Yeah, it did.
For RPGs, I think.
And then Dragon Age 2 came along. Maybe not as universally loved.
Yeah.
But it still had that.
Yeah, I think that's right.
That BioWare heart,
It did.
Those relationships with the characters, the focus on personal stories.
Oh, yeah, definitely. That was special. Yeah, it really, pushed the boundaries of what an RPG could be, even though it maybe stumbled a bit with the repetitive environments.
Right. And then we got Inquisition.
Yeah.
Super ambitious. Huge.
Yeah.
But I know, felt a little unfocused for some.
A little too fast, maybe.
Yeah, a little too fast.
Yeah.
So here we are in 2024. BioWare drops the Veilguard. And this review is like a giant sigh of relief.
It is.
For the whole Dragon Age community.
Yeah.
I mean, the reviewer is genuinely surprised.
Yeah.
By how much they loved it.
I think it's safe to say that we all are surprised.
Yeah. And it kind of makes you think, right?
Yeah.
Like, maybe Veilguard is BioWare's answer to all those Inquisition criticisms.
That's possible.
Instead of these massive open worlds, they went back to a more curated approach.
Yeah.
They're focusing on specific regions.
Yeah.
In the north of Thedas.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking Riven, Androfels, Kal Sharok, Arlothan Forest.
Wow.
Even Minrathous.
That's amazing.
Like, we've been reading about these places for years.
Yeah.
In Codex entry.
Forever.
And now we actually get to explore them.
It's going to be awesome.
It's like they took all the best parts of the previous games, the choices from Origins, the characters and stories from Dragon Age 2, and mixed it all up with a whole new setting. And some stunning visuals. I mean, the reviewer goes on and on about how beautiful the environments are.
It sounds amazing.
The character designs. They even talk about the hair tech.
I know.
Right? Like, what? Apparently, BioWare has leveled up their game graphically.
They really have.
Big time.
Yeah.
And the level design. You remember how we talked about the comparisons to Knights of the Old Republic?
Yeah.
It seems like they've built these detailed, intricate spaces that encourage exploration.
Yeah.
But in a more focused way.
Right.
Than those huge, sometimes empty landscapes.
Yeah.
In Inquisition.
It's a nice change of pace.
Yeah, it is. It makes you wonder.
Yeah.
If this whole shift back to a more linear approach could be a trend in RPGs in general.
Maybe.
Like a response to the open world fatigue.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Maybe, but let's stay focused on the Veilguard for now. I'm curious about your take on the combat. It sounds like they've evolved the system from Inquisition. It's more action-heavy now, moving further away from those tactical roots of Origins.
I know that. Well, the reviewer definitely prefers a controller over mouse and keyboard for this one. They really highlighted the Spellblade class as a great example of how fun the combat can be.
Okay.
It's fluid. It's fast.
So weaving spells into your swordplay, like dancing with a dagger through a lightning storm, is how they put it.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, that sounds pretty epic.
It does.
But what about those of us who loved that tactical depth of Origins?
Yeah.
Is there still room for strategy in the Veilguard?
It seems like there is. They mention you can still pause and issue commands to your party, but they admitted that the real thrill comes from mastering that fast-paced, almost like dance-like combat flow.
Okay, so there's a balance then.
Yeah.
Something for the action fans.
Yeah.
And for the tactical players.
Right.
And speaking of balance, they also mentioned that while regular enemy encounters can get a bit repetitive, the boss fights, those are where the combat really shines. especially against the high dragons.
Oh, of course.
Those require strategy, quick reflexes, and a deep understanding of your abilities.
Yeah, it's classic BioWare, right?
Totally.
Those epic boss battles that really test you.
Yeah, and let's be real. Those high dragons have always been a highlight of Dragon Age.
Absolutely.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they are. You know, those high dragons, they always bring that sense of awe and terror.
Yeah.
Like, they really embody the wild spirit of Thetis.
Yeah, I agree.
Untamed.
For sure.
And it sounds like Veilguard captures that intensity really well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But let's shift gears a bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about something else that's classic BioWare. The companions.
Ah, yes.
I mean, come on, we all play these games for the companions.
Of course.
Right, to assemble that perfect team of misfits and heroes.
It's half the fun.
Exactly. So what did you think of the Veilguard crew?
Well, let's just say, BioWare hasn't lost their touch.
Okay, good.
The reviewer raves about them, calls them complex, memorable, and most importantly, likable.
Okay, that's what we like to hear.
Yeah, and each one has their own full story arc, with their own challenges and triumphs, even their own nemesis, apparently.
Okay, now I'm really intrigued. Remember in Inquisition, some of those companion quests?
Yeah.
They felt a little like busy work.
Right.
Fetch this, kill that.
Right, go here, do that.
Exactly. So it sounds like they've really stepped up their game with Veilguard.
Oh, absolutely. The reviewer specifically mentions how they ditched those generic fetch quests for more meaningful stories that actually connect to the main narrative.
Right.
And they even call out Davrin, the Grey Warden, and Emmerich, the Necromancer.
Ooh, a Grey Warden and a Necromancer. That's an interesting pairing.
Yeah, I can already imagine the banter.
Oh, the possibilities.
Right.
And speaking of possibilities, the reviewer mentions a companion whose story explores gender identity and coming out to their family.
Yeah, that's a really interesting addition. And they praise how authentic the portrayal is, especially since the writer for that character identifies as non-binary themselves.
That's fantastic.
It is.
You know, it's so important to see these stories being told, especially in a fantasy setting.
Absolutely.
It shows how BioWare is really evolving with the times, you know, being more inclusive.
Yeah, it's great to see.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got epic boss battles. We've got compelling companions and a studio that's really pushing boundaries in terms of representation. But what about the main plot?
Yeah, what's the big bad this time?
What's threatening Thetis?
Right. Well, it wouldn't be Dragon Age without some looming existential threat.
True.
Right. But there's a twist.
Oh, of course there's a twist.
Oh, of course.
Come on, lay it on me.
All right, you ready for this?
Hit me.
Solus. The Dreadwolf is back.
Oh, Solus, that tricky, enigmatic elf.
Yeah, he's pulling the strings and leaving everyone guessing.
Yeah, he's going to cause chaos and break our hearts.
Probably, but...
You know, it wouldn't be the same without him.
Right. He's such a big part of Dragon Age now.
He is.
From his mysterious introduction in Inquisition to his complex motivations and that jaw-dropping reveal at the end. He's a character that stays with you.
For sure. And this review hints that his role in Veilguard is major.
Yeah.
They even call the game both a send-off and a soft reboot for the series.
A send-off and a reboot. That's interesting.
What does that even mean for a franchise with this much history?
It's a curious statement, especially since it seems like the impact of choices from previous games is kind of limited in Veilguard.
You can only import 3 major decisions. And even then, the effects are subtle.
Yeah, I was hoping to see how my Inquisition choices played out.
I know, me too.
Remember all those fan theories?
Those codex entries we poured over,
yeah,
trying to predict the future of Thetis. But it seems like they went in a different direction.
Maybe they wanted it to be more accessible for new players.
Yeah, that's possible. Maybe they didn't want to alienate.
Right. The veterans.
Exactly.
Well, what about our old companions?
Yeah.
Like the Warden, Hawk. Surely they at least make an appearance.
Well, the reviewer did mention Hawk briefly, but no Warden.
Ah, so maybe the send-off is more literal than we thought.
Yeah, it seems like they're closing the book on one chapter of Dragon Age and opening a new one.
Right, and while that's a little bittersweet, it's also exciting. Yeah, new characters, new conflicts, new corners of Thetis to explore.
Okay, before we get too lost speculating about the future, let's bring it back to the present.
Okay.
The reviewer mentions a couple interesting gameplay details.
Yeah.
Apparently, there's a bit of a pacing issue.
Oh, really?
Yeah, early on. Like there were maybe some rewrites during development.
Yeah.
They even joked about how the term Veilguard is never actually spoken in the game.
That's funny.
Right.
Classic game development, I guess.
Yeah. Sounds like some last-minute changes.
Marketing decisions, story revisions.
Things happen.
It happens.
But thankfully, the reviewer assures us that the narrative finds its footing and stays engaging.
Okay, good.
And they really hyped up the ending.
Oh,
They compared it to the finale of Mass Effect 2.
Wow.
Which, come on, that's a high bar.
It is.
Tough choices, sacrifices, consequences that actually feel impactful. That classic BioWare gut punch.
Oh, yeah.
That leaves you questioning everything.
They really know how to deliver those.
They do. And it sounds like they've learned from Inquisition, where some players felt like their choices didn't matter as much.
It's good to hear they're taking feedback.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
This time around, they brought back that sense of agency and consequence that made games like Origins and Mass Effect 2 so memorable.
Absolutely.
And it's not just tacked on at the end. The reviewer emphasizes that your choices throughout the game build up to those final moments.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, it's all about that build-up.
Exactly, making you feel like every decision matters, every conversation, every battle leads to that crucial point. It sounds like they've really captured that narrative mastery again, weaving together choices and consequences for a truly impactful finale.
And let's not forget about those BioWare cinematics.
Oh, those are always great.
Come on, they really know how to create those. Epic, heart-wrenching moments that stay with you. The reviewer describes Veilguard as feeling like a big-budget fantasy movie at times. Yeah. Sweeping shots, intense battles, and a score that elevates those key moments.
They really excel at those cinematic experiences.
They do. They understand the power of visual storytelling. That well-placed camera angle. Or a soaring musical score.
Yeah, it can make all the difference.
And it sounds like they've really pulled out all the stops for Veilguard.
Yeah, I'm getting excited just thinking about it.
Me too. I can picture those dramatic close-ups. The epic clashes of steel and magic. The sweeping vistas of Thetis. I'm getting chills.
Me too. It's fascinating how this game seems to be bridging the gap between that classic Dragon Age formula and something new, something fresh.
Yeah. They're refining elements from the previous games, blending them with new ideas, a bold new setting. It's like they're acknowledging the legacy.
Right, but also forging a new path.
And I'm completely on board.
You too. But before we get carried away, let's consider something the reviewer mentioned that really struck me. They talked about how, despite the limited impact of imported choices, they still felt a deep connection to the world and the characters.
So even though our past decisions might not directly affect the plot, there's still a sense of continuity.
Exact.
A feeling that our previous experiences in Thetis have shaped who we are as players.
It's like we're bringing our own headcanon into Veilguard. All those choices we made, the relationships, the tragedies, they've shaped our understanding of Thetis. And that's not something BioWare can fully control.
Right, even with a soft reboot. And that's what makes this franchise so special.
Absolutely.
It's not just playing a game. It's about inhabiting a world. Building a legacy. And carrying those experiences with you. It makes you think how our own personal histories as players might influence how we see Veilguard.
For example, someone who romanced Morrigan in Origins might view Solas's plans differently.
Right, than someone who allied with the Templars.
Exactly, or someone who played as a Dalish elf in Inquisition. They'll have a deeper understanding of elven lore, which could add a whole new layer of meaning.
Yeah, that's a good point. To the conflicts in Veilguard.
It's the beauty of a world like Thetis. There's always something new to discover.
A
different perspective. A deeper understanding.
It's like BioWare has created this tapestry.
And we, the players, are weaving our own threads into it.
I love that with each playthrough. And Veilguard is giving us a whole new set of threads to work with.
It sounds like they've given us different needles, too.
Oh, I like that. To match our stitching styles.
Yeah, whether you prefer the intricate detail work of Origins or the bold strokes of Inquisition?
It really captures what Veilguard seems to be offering. A familiar world, beloved characters, and a studio that's pushing boundaries while still honoring that Dragon Age legacy.
And it's a testament to the power of video games as a medium. Veilguard is more than just a game. It's an invitation to step back into this world we love, to forge new connections, and write our own chapter in the ongoing saga of Thetis.
Couldn't have said it better myself. So as we eagerly await the release of Dragon Age, the Veilguard, We want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay.
What legacy will you carve into Thetis? What choices will you make? What stories will you tell? The fate of Thetis, as always, rests in your hands. So we've talked about so much, all those nostalgic nods to the past, all the cool new stuff in Veilguard. But I keep thinking about that idea of continuity. You know, what we did in the old Dragon Age games might affect how we see this new one.
It really is like bringing our own headcanon to Veilguard, isn't it?
It is. All those choices we made, the people we met, the things we went through, they've shaped how we understand Thetis. And that's something BioWare can't totally control.
I know, even with a soft reboot.
Right. And that's part of what makes Dragon Age so special. It's not just about playing. It's about living in that world, building something that lasts, taking those experiences with you as the story moves forward.
It really is.
It makes you think about how our own personal journeys as players might change how we see things in Veilguard.
Exactly.
Like, think about it. Someone who romanced Morgan in Origins, they're probably going to see Solas's whole plan in a different light.
Oh, yeah.
Than someone who sided with the Templars.
Totally different perspective, for sure.
Totally different. Or imagine a player who was a Dalish elf in Inquisition. They're coming in with a much deeper understanding of elven lore.
For sure.
And that could change how they see the themes and conflicts in Veilguard.
BioWare made this huge tapestry, and we, the players, get to weave our own little pieces into it.
I love that. With each playthrough. And Veilguard is giving us brand new threads to work with.
Absolutely.
It's amazing how Veilguard seems to be doing both. Sticking with what we know and love, but also pushing forward into something new.
It's exciting.
A familiar world, characters we care about. BioWare's taking those risks, pushing storytelling and technology further, but they're not forgetting what made Dragon Age great in the first place.
It's the perfect balance, and it all comes back to the power of video games to really pull you into a story.
Veilguard isn't just a game.
No. It's a chance to go back to Thetis, to make new friends, and be part of the story.
I'm ready. I can't wait for Dragon Age, the Veilguard. And as we wait, I'm going to leave you with one last thing to think about. What mark will you leave on Thetis? What will your choices be? What story will you tell? Thetis is in your hands. Until next time.